What's up everyone, Soldier First Class here. In today's mission, we're going to talk about why God of War on PS4 is truly a modern masterpiece. There's a lot to dive into, so stay tuned soldiers, it's time for our next mission. I'd like to start off by saying this video will be as spoiler-free as possible. No major story beats will be revealed, just in case you're watching and have never played any of the games before. This includes spoilers from God of War 1 on PS2 all the way to the God of War on PS4. God of War is actually a game series I've wanted to talk about on my channel for a long time, and I'm glad I've finally gotten the opportunity to do so. I've played every game in the series and loved each of them, but if I had to pick a favorite, it would have to be God of War PS4. God of War is actually my second favorite series after Final Fantasy. It's a game series I'm very passionate about, as it combines my love of Greek and Norse mythology with my love for video games. So what makes this game so great? I think it begins with its wonderfully crafted story. The main character Kratos finds himself in the middle of ancient Norway after years of living in Greece. This is a time where the gods of Norse mythology freely walk the earth. Taking place in a realm known as Midgard, Midgard. I'm still kinda in Final Fantasy mode. Kratos lives a mildly quiet life, but with any great story, this one is full of tragedy and triumph and everything in between. This time around, Kratos has a son named Atreus. Their relationship is rocky, but is a major focus of the game. Without treading too much into spoiler territory, it's hard for me to say much, but just know that the father-son relationship aspect of this game is damn near perfect. I've had fathers tell me that they felt a special connection to this game based on their relationships with their own sons. When a video game has that kind of storytelling, you know it's a great one. God of War's storyline has always been full of recognizable characters from the region's mythology. You'll meet exciting new characters along your journey and grow to love and hate them as well. There's also quite a bit of humor in the game, and the NPCs are a good source of it. There's a lot to see and do in the world of God of War PS4. You'll always have an objective and plenty of side quests to keep you busy. The best part about its quest system is that rewards actually feel worth your time. You'll gain enchantments which, when slotted into armor, give you special stat boosts and passive abilities that are key to succeeding in combat. Leveling is handled differently than your average RPG, and the game also makes use of skill trees for certain combat abilities. These abilities range from long range to short range combat. You spend experience points to gain these abilities, and you also gain special bonuses when your stats are at certain numbers. Your level is determined by a mixture of armor, weapons, and enchantments that you have equipped. The higher the level of each of these, the higher level Kratos will be. You can also level up by upgrading, finding, or crafting better armor. Each armor has a level, can be upgraded, and some even feature special passive abilities and stat boosts. The right set of armor can yield great results in combat and also influence your character's build. It allows you to tailor your stats to your playstyle and makes Kratos look cool while doing it. The crafting system is also really well done and requires you to collect rare components. This is how you acquire some of the most powerful armors in the game. You'll receive these components from chests, quest lines, and enemy drops. Armor is divided into categories by rarity, and these range from common to epic. The higher ranked armor will lead to better stat boosts and typically feature more enchantment slots. They also typically feature better passive abilities as well. Speaking of enchantments, they're another source of stat raising and also carry special properties. Combined with armor, enchantments allow you to build Kratos the way you want. For example, if you want to play a more tank-like character, you can equip armor and enchantments that focus on defense and vitality. If you prefer a more glass cannon magical style, you can select enchantments that boost your cooldown and runic abilities. You can also make your Kratos a more well-rounded build and adjust your style on the fly. You can experiment with all the different enchantments in the game, which are also divided into rarity categories. Overall, the armor and character building system is one of the best out there. It's extremely deep, and all of the different systems really complement each other well. It doesn't feel overwhelming, and is fairly easy to pick up and play around with. Customization is a lot of the fun when it comes to RPGs, and God of War pulls it off better than you expect for a game series that started in hack and slash. For their first attempt at an action-adventure style God of War game, Sony Santa Monica passed the test with flying colors. Combat is immersive, fluid, and feels really good and responsive. Your axe and shield feel great, and the axe's versatility is extremely fun to mess around with. The axe can be thrown and called back to you, much like Thor's hammer Mjolnir. It's also key in a lot of the puzzle-solving parts of the game. After being thrown, you can use the axe's callback ability to your advantage in combat. If you miss an enemy with the throw, you can position yourself so the callback trips up the enemy from behind, leaving them stunned. You'll also learn new combos and attacks, and despite its origins in hack and slash, you'll get punished for a relentless assault style. This combat system makes use of dodging, shield blocking, and picking your spots as much as possible. It's a little more fast-paced than Witcher 3 or Dark Souls, so you won't be dodging back and forth constantly, but you'll still need to pick your spots. You'll also learn special magical based attacks from items called runes. These are slotted into your weapons and give you abilities that feature cooldowns. You'll have to pick your spots with these attacks, and each feature their own stats that you can upgrade. Atreus gets his own runes as well, which summon creatures to aid in battle. Speaking of Atreus, he becomes a very important aspect of the combat as the game goes on. His bow skills and summons add a layer of depth to the combat that very few games pull off well. This is likely due to the fact that you'll control him with the square button, all while being in mid-combat. He will fight on his own somewhat, but this gives the player a lot more control. The soundtrack of the game is also a composition masterpiece, full of tracks that are influenced by both the Greek feel of the old games and the Norse feel of this one. God of War's soundtrack will leave a lasting impression. It captures the gravity of every moment and situation, and helps evoke emotion from the player during critical scenes. Graphically speaking, this is one of the most beautiful games on the PlayStation 4. Midgard looks cold and dreary, but in no way is that a bad thing. The game really captures the region's climate, and Sony Santa Monica made it eerily beautiful. You'll be blown away by all the little details and all the beauty this game has to offer. While most of the game takes place in cold and dreary locations, when the game does become bright and colorful, you'll be captivated by its beauty. And the fun doesn't stop there, as you can share this beauty with friends, as God of War features a photo mode. It also wouldn't be an action-adventure game without collectibles to search for, and God of War handles this really well. Lore-based collectibles dot the map, and the game makes finding them an adventure on their own. You'll explore parts of the map you've never seen before in search of these rare items. Completionists will absolutely love this part of the adventure, and it's not an overly difficult system for newcomers to get into. After completing the main story, you can continue exploring Midgard and picking up anything you may have missed. There's also a new Game Plus feature, so you can take your armor, abilities, and items and start your adventure all over again. Cory Barlog is one of the best directors in video games, and his philosophy on video games is one of the best in the industry. The game features 0 microtransactions and 0 paid DLC. When you put the disc in or play the digital download, you're getting the full God of War experience no matter how much you paid or which edition you picked up. There's even post-game content that allows you to acquire rare armor and loot, and it's all completely free. A season pass is nowhere to be found, and honestly, this is how all games should be. God of War isn't just a small adventure with only a few hours of gameplay and cutscenes. This game can take anywhere from 25 to 35 hours to complete, and possibly more if you take your time and do absolutely everything there is to do. That's more than the first 3 games in the series combined. Fan service can be a good or bad thing, but God of War handles it so perfectly that veterans of the franchise will love every single reference and callback to the previous entries. The beauty of the game is that even if you're new to the franchise, this is still a game you can enjoy. It doesn't treat the storyline as a continuation for the most part, and allows this adventure to feel like its own experience. You don't have to worry about playing previous entries to understand what's going on, but it may encourage you to play the original games to appreciate some of the story's historical aspects. Overall, God of War on PS4 has become one of my favorite games of all time. Sony has put together yet another amazing exclusive, and there's a good reason why it won Game of the Year for 2018, especially when you consider that Spider-Man PS4 and Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in the same year. That's a testament to just how good God of War PS4 is. All of its major and minor systems complement each other well, and the combat is some of the best in the franchise. Its storyline is also one of the best I've ever played, and evokes so many emotions in new players and veterans alike. Let's just say if I were going to give it a rating, I'd have to give it a 10 out of 10. This game is near flawless, and is a must-play experience for any PlayStation 4 owner. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to omni-slash that like button. Let me know in the comments section below if you loved God of War, or if this video encouraged you to give it a try. Subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell to join the ranks of Soldier today. And for all the latest God of War content, I'm Soldier First Class, and I'm on to the next mission. Later, guys.